Maseches Kiddushin. Which daf are we in? Tell me. I think it's daf Yud Amud Aleph. Am I wrong? No, it's Yud Amud Aleph in Kiddushin. Amud Yomi Shiur. And here we are, amazing people around us in Avas Shalom over here, B'Shemesh. And welcome to everybody in Torah Anytime and on YouTube, our YouTube channel. Iboy Lehu. We already mentioned the names before the Shiur. I'll just say again, my father. My father Menachem Ben Akiva, Rus Bas Shalom, Sol Bas Moshe, Heni Aresha Bas Elchon Yitzchak. And L'Refuah Pnina Chai Bas Gula Rochel, Chana Bat Sima, should all have Refuah Shlema, and obviously all the captured people should come back home very speedily. Ibai Lehu Bia. We are now by the two dots, the second two dots in the page. The line starts with the word Haboy El, and we are in the word Iboy Lehu. Yeah, there is a question asked in the Besmedrash. We know that one of the three ways of acquiring a woman's hand is what for Kiddushin? Is kesef, money, shtar. Yeah, we've discussed that. And bia is when he has relations with her for the purpose, in a respectful way, for the purpose of Kiddushin, then it's Kiddushin. What Kiddushin, by the way? Kiddushin means what? That she's fully married. Does she live with him after Kiddushin? No. If they live together, in other words, if they illegally have relations after Kiddushin, the Rambam says, you lash them. In other words, before Chuppah, which does the second stage called Nisuin, yeah, before Nisuin is done, there are many nafkaminas. One nafkamina is that they're not supposed to be together. Besides, there are many other nafkaminas in that period between Kiddushin and Nisuin. As we're going to see today, there are a lot of financial and otherwise nafkaminas. It's an in-between situation. Many things the couples are not connected yet when she's Mekudeshes, before she's Nisua, okay? And that is the interim stage called Kiddushin or Erusin. The word engagement is not Erusin. In other words, and what we call today engagement is called Tnoim, which would decide, and then she's not an Eishes Ish. An engaged girl is not an Eishes Ish in today's terms, right? We all know that. Today, that's why we're all confused, because today the minhag is to do Kiddushin and Nisuin all in one go, right? When he puts a ring under the chuppah is the Nisuin, or the Cheder Yichud, or the Badeken, yeah, Cheder Yichud, let's say, later, and the Chuppah, and the Kiddushin is giving her the ring, which is Kiddusha Kesef, right? It's done together in one ceremony, but originally, there was a period of whichever amount of time, sometimes a year. This week's Pasha, Yet Yeshivana Nara Yomi Ma'osar, yeah, 12 months for Basula, yeah, they used to give her between Kiddushin and Nisuin. Iboilu. Now we have a question in the Besmedrash. Bia. The Kiddushin of Bia, Nisuin Oisa or Erusin Oisa, which means if a person did Kiddushin through Bia, do we say that it's two for the price of one? Which means at the stage of Kiddushin, once he did Kiddushin automatically serve you as two things. The function is two things. It's Kiddushin, he said around Kodeshesli, it's also Nisuin. Because hello, what can be close? What's Nisuin? They live together. They're Kilu under the chuppah, Kilu Yichud room. Well, Bia is, hey, you can't get closer than that, right? And therefore, maybe Bia automatically does Kiddushin, which is Erusin, and Nisuin all in one go. And there's no need afterwards for chuppah, Cheder Yichud, Badeken, you call it, putting the talis like the Sfardim. No, maybe the Bia already did the Nisuin. That's it. It's Kiddushin and Nisuin. Two, automatically, almost inadvertently, it happens that there is already Nisuin. Or Erusin also, or maybe if the Chosen has the Kavanah to do Erusin, then it's only Erusin, because that's what they mean to do. It doesn't just happen by itself. They mean to have Erusin now. Later on, they'll need the other stage called Nisuin. What will they have to do? As usual, Chuppah, Cheder Yichud, etc. Okay? This is basically the question. Do we say that Bia is pure Kiddushin only, like Kesef and Shtar? Or do we say Bia, because of its nature, by itself, as of itself, Bia is Kiddushin and Nisuin all in one go? Because that's Nisuin. Nisuin means something that symbolizes a live together. I can't think of more living together than having what we call today full relations, right? That's a question. How do you view that? You can explain this question in many ways. It depends on his das, depends on the reality. But that's, first of all, this is just a question. Nafkamina. Oh, the Gemara is going to see many nafkaminas between a girl who is Mekudeshes and a girl who is Nesua. Leyorsho. Let's say the girl got Yerusha. That girl who is no the girl before, what we're going to see now is the nefkaminas of before and after nisuin, right? Leosha, a girl got $10 million Yerusha. Yeah, she got a big Yerusha. I'm sorry, I have to call Baruch. Yeah, she got a big Yerusha. Now, if she's called Meurosa, does he get part of the Yerusha? No. But if she's called Nesua, then he does. But even without that, no, that's not enough kamina. No. Leosha here. Ain't a Yosho. Sorry. I made a mistake. No, it's true what I said. It's true what I said, but it's not what the Gemara says over here. Liyosha means if she dies. Excuse me. I know I made a mistake. I apologize. True. It says in the Torah, when does the husband get his wife's Yerusha if she dies? She was a billionaire, or she wasn't a billionaire, but she left Yerusha, yeah? Now, let's say there was Yerusha left by her. Who gets the Yerusha? It says she'eroi hakorev elov. She'er means flesh. So only once they had flesh and flesh together, only once they were properly married, then we say that he inherits what she left behind, right? Once she died. That's only after nisuin. But if the bia only represents kiddushin and she's not mekudeshes, she doesn't get the money that she left behind. What I said is not what we're saying right now. Jump the gun. He doesn't. What did I say? He doesn't get. Sorry. No, he doesn't get. For her. Sorry. Yeah. He doesn't get the Yerusha she left behind because it's only Kiddushin. It's not called She'er Boso. Ulitame lo. Let's say it's a Kohen. Is a Kohen allowed to be nitma to his wife, to go to his wife's levaya? A Kohen is not supposed to be tome. Let's say Kohen has seven close relatives. One of them is his wife. That's only true if she's mamish his wife, Nesua, proper wife, after nisuin. But if she's his arusa, mikudeshes, he doesn't become tometer. He's not allowed to go to her levaya, touch her, be in the room, or deal with her. Because why? Because that's not called his proper wife. Yeah, only the wife that was really his wife after nisuin, the kohen may become tomet, tumas meis, and go to the levaya and be with a dead body. A girl who is, let's say, depends if she's a naira or not a naira, the father can be made for her nedorim. But a husband of a naira, with 12, between 12 and 12 and a half, can be made for the nedorim together with the father. The father and the husband, the orus together, made for the neder. They both have to annul her neder if she made a neder. Once she's nesua, only past the final bright stage of nesua, then the only one in charge of her nedarim, the only one who says, "What did I hear? I'm not eating pizza and I'm neder. I'm breaking that anti-pizza neder. We're going to have pizza in this house." Who can do that? Only the husband, and he's the exclusive sole neder person in charge of neder. That is only when she reached the nisuin stage. So now, what's an afkamina? The Gemara is just going to elaborate what I already told you before. I did the job for you. If you say that bia of kiddushin automatically means nisuin, so it's a one-stop shop. She's mekudeshes and right away nisua. At the same time, he finished the bia. That's it. She's complete nisua. Then yoyosho, he gets the yerusha of hers. He gets her money. Umitamela, if he's a kohen, he goes to her levaya and he's allowed to be nitma to her just like her father, his father's mother, his son and daughter. Umeifer nedareho, and he's the one and the only one without the father, without anybody else, who's going to break her vows, her nedorim. However, if you say that kiddushin that were done for the purpose of kiddushin, i.e., bia was done only for erusin, and it stays that way. So what is she right now after the bia is over? Moroso. Moroso means eno yosho. He does not get her money that she left behind after death. Doesn't get her inheritance. She's mekudeshes, but he's not metame. He does not become. He's not allowed to become tome to her. And he's not allowed to mefer nedorim. Not allowed to. It just won't. He won't help. Yeah, it's not functional. Yeah, he's not the one in charge of her nedorim. Yeah, if she's a big girl before she got married, nobody can make for her nedorim. If she's above 12 and a half, if she's 12 and a half, it's the father and him. But Beketza, the exclusive, the one and only one who's made for neder is only after nisuin. My And the question is, what's the halacha? Is kiddushay bia only kiddushin, and you'd still need nisuin later? You need the whole chasen, chuppah, cheder, yichud, or do we say no? Or do we say kiddushin is automatically nisuin? Kiddushay bia is also nisuin straight away, and now she's a complete nesua for all intents and purposes. What's halacha? No, let's start playing the game and try and find out what's halacha. Is it kiddushin only, or is it kiddushin nisuin in the same, in one go, in one shot? Omar Abaye says Abaye, listen to this Toshma. It says in Subes Daf Mevov Daf Samechei. And this is very good chazara to what we've seen before. This is a very, very important list to know and remember. We've seen it before in around Daf Hey. I'm going to see it now again. Ha'av zakei bebitoi. A father has the rights over his daughter's bekidusheh, the kiddushin, bekesef b'shtar ubebia, which means the father, when it comes to a girl, up to what age, my friends? From the age of 3 till the age of, or even before maybe, 12 and a half, very good. Both Ktana and Naira, bekesef. He's in charge of Kiddusha Kesef, and he's the one also receiving the Kesef. He's the one in charge, and he's the one who receives the money. How do we know? It's bitin osati Eishes Ish. It says, I gave my daughter to the man. B'shtar. If you want to Mekadesh a girl of 12 with the shtar, who gets the shtar? The father or the girl? The father. And he's the one who has the say. Ubebia, also bebia, she obviously has bia, but the father is the one who's going to allow her to be with a certain man, and the man says, I'm going to have bia with your daughter, and the father okays it, and the father is the one in charge representing her side. He's the one who's kiddushin, kesef shtar ubia, and kesef lodon zesh, kesef lodon acher. We've seen that. Also, additional, in addition to that, the zakai b'mitziosa ub'maisa yodel. The father, and that's b'mitziosa, if a girl found a mitzia in the street, a girl of, 8, 9, 10, 12, and almost a half, she found a very nice envelope with $1,000 in the street, and they don't have to give it back, whatever, because there's no semen or they live in Tokyo, whatever. So now, who gets the mitzia? The father. That's actually a takana d'Rabbanan because the father supports her. Mimeli, she has to give him her mitzios, right? In other words, I support the girl. I work my brains off all the time to give support to the family. That little girl, who has new clothes every other day, she might as well give me her mitzia. That's the takana d'Rabbanan. Ube ma'aseh yodea. Also ma'aseh yodea. Why ma'aseh yodea? If she makes money, babysitting, working in a factory, I don't know, then what? The money goes to the father. Why to the father? Because it says, if a man sells his daughter to an amma, just like an amma, a master gets her ma'aseh yadayim, what she manufactures, so to the father gets what his daughter manufactures. That we know mefurash, right? A girl, Ktana, her nedorim are not nedorim. But a naira, nedorim are serious. You all realize that. A naira is a grown girl for all other purposes. If a naira smokes in Shabbos on purpose, she gets kila, right? A naira is already a gdola. She's above bas mitzvah. And yet, for all these financial and otherwise things, there's special psukim who still put her under the authority of the father. If she makes a neder, the father is allowed to break the neder. Umekabeles gita. Let's say she was moirosa, and now the husband wants to divorce her. The father receives her get. One thing he doesn't get. That's what I meant before. Here comes what I told you before. Let's say the girl gets her own money from Yerusha. Let's say that girl, she didn't die and bequeaths other people. Let's say somebody from her mother's side, some rich uncle from America, died and left her $2 million inheritance. She gets inheritance, but the father does not eat the Paris in her life. In other words, let's say she got a nice apartment in Yerushalayim, So we don't say that the apartment is hers and the father eats the Paris, gets the rent all the time, like Nichse Milug. We don't say that by the father. We say that the apartment will stay there until she grows up more, and then it will be completely hers. It's not so much issue right now, but there is no nichse miluk by father. We don't say the body is hers and the parents belong to the father. Now, nises, let's say that girl got married. Imagine yourself, this is a story with chronology. We just spoke about a girl who's moiroso, and with her erusin, XYZ ABCD happened. Yerusha, Ma'aseh Yadayim, Nedorim, v'chulei. Nises, that same girl which we spoke about now had Nisuin. On top of what she had before, now she's in a new stage Nisuin. What happens next? Yes, sir, all of a Baal, the Baal gets all the rights that the father got. Yeah, now the Baal is the one who gets her Ma'aseh Yadayim, gets her Metzia, gets her things, gives her a get if necessary. The husband becomes the boss. However, Yeser Olav Baal, the Baal has one more advantage over the father. The Baal gets something the father did not get when she was single or when she was a Moirosa. As you know very well, if a woman has her own money, let's say she got inheritance from somewhere, then the body of the asset belongs to her. What is that? I don't know, an apartment, a field, whatever. The husband almost automatically would get the payros. He gets the payros, he gets the money, but he's not allowed to sell it. He's not allowed to change it. It's hers, but he gets the money and he supports the family with this money. One thing says, so what does it have to do with us? Says the Gemara, wait a second. End of story. Tani, says the Gemara, listen to what we just said. Tani Bia, at the very beginning of the statement, we said kesef shtar ubia, right? So we said the father mimekadesh his daughter kesef shtar and bia. Please underline with red mark bia viktani nises. And later on in the story it says, you know what happens to that girl if she gets married? Ba 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 ba. The husband gets more. Oh, wait a second. I thought this girl had kesef shtar or bia, and then you're telling me nises. So you see that even after bia, nisuim still apply. So you see that Bia didn't do the trick. You see that Bia alone didn't get you to Kiddushin and Nisuin. You see Bia, and afterwards there's Nises. So you see that Bia is only Kiddushin, not Nisuin. And says the Gemara, rejects the Gemara. No. Kiktani Nises Ash'oro. This is not a real story, my friend. When it says Nises, it talks about the other two out of the three. We speak about Kesef, Shtar, and Bia, right? Now, Kesef and Shtar definitely require Nisuin later. And on them, we said, in case she had kesef and shtar, she still needs nisuin, because it's only kesef and shtar. They don't do nisuin, no question. In case there's nisuin, the husband gets more. In case of bia, and a chinami, in case of bia, she doesn't need to do the extra nisuin. Yeah, this is not a marriage manual. This is telling you all kinds of scenarios, the rights over here and the rights over there. In case she didn't have bia, then she needs to do nisuin. Omar Rove. Now comes Rove with another statement. Omar Rove. Toshma, come and hear the following. Basically, what we're about to see now is how a bia of a girl who's 3 years old is considered to be a halachic bia. As funny as it may sound to us, once a girl is 3 years old, then bia with that girl has the ramifications of a halachic bia. In other words, if a person has bia with a girl younger than 3, then that bia is not bia. The Gemara says it's like putting a finger in the eye, meaning nothing happened. It goes back. In other words, it's like nothing really happened physically, nothing happened halachically. Once she's 3, then enachinami. Now nobody says you should or shouldn't do it, of course. But once a girl is 3, then the bia is considered halachically as there was a ma'aseh bia. That's all. Bas sholosh shani v'yom echad miskadeshes bebia. Number 1, kiddush should be applied to her. Yes, she can be miskadesh bebia if the father obviously agrees, he's in charge. Ve'im ba'al ha'yovam kno. If a yovam, let's say, what does a yovam have to do in order to acquire his yavama, which already has zika? You need one action only, midoraisa, bia. So if the yovam had relations with the 3 years old, had bia on the 3 years old, then no, she's his yavama, she's legal wife, 100% for everything. The chayovin ala mishum Eishes Ish. Let's say, the father received Kiddushin of money for her. Another person had bia with her. That other person is chayev what? Chayev misa. Is chayev misa because he had relations with Eishes Ish. It's not called relations. It is. A bia with the 3 years old and above is called bia. You had bia with what? With a girl who's an Eishes Ish. Chayev chenek. Umetame es boyalo. She's metames. Oh, now what happens if she's nida? The Gemara says that even a 1-day-old baby may see nida. Yes, I actually heard from a nurse that sometimes even baby girls from a very, very young age see nida, not regularly, because it said it's still from the pregnancy of the mother. It's still blood from the mother. That's why after birth you can still see blood coming out of the girl because it's connected to the mother. Yes, a nurse told me that. Umetama es boyalo, a girl who is below 3 may be nida, but if a person has bia with a girl who's below 3, what is it considered? It's as if he touched a nida. A person who touched nida, what's halacha with him? If he touched a nida, then he becomes rishon letuma. Again, a nida is avatuma, right? A nida is avatuma. What happens if a husband or a man or whoever touches a nida? What happens? He becomes rishon letuma, one level below. What happens to a person who has bia with a nida? Besides the avera, he becomes avatuma. Yeah, it becomes more tama than rishon, becomes like avatuma. Umetama is boyalo, a woman who is a 3 years old girl, yeah, like a woman, metama is boyalo, she, the one who has relations with her, becomes tome, letama mishkav tachton ke'elyon. What does that mean? That's a little bit complicated. Letama mishkav tachton ke'elyon means as follows, that let's say a person is a zav. We've seen many times that a zav, amongst others, zav, zava, whatever these, once he lies on one mattress or one blanket or anything, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 of them, they all become what? Avatuma. All become the same. Mashenk and Elyon, the blanket on top of him, only the first one becomes Av, not the rest. The other blankets on top of him are not Av, the only Rishon. This guy who slept with a Nida, yeah, so then he's not Avatuma to make Odom V'Kelim. He's only Metame, Mekitzer, he's Metame, I was wrong. He doesn't become an avatuma, this guy. The one who had relations with a nida becomes tome for 7 days, but he does not become tome to make all the different mattresses above and below all avatuma, above for sure not even below. He only makes them what? He makes them into rishon latuma, not more than that. Yeah, he makes them rishon latuma. He's the one who is like the nida, sleeping on the mattresses. He makes them, yeah, only rishon letuma, letam ochlinu mashkin, not more than that. But for 7 days, he's 7 days is tome like the nida, not just for one night. If he touched the nida, he's just a rishon. One day, go to the mikveh at night, all is good. If he had relations with the nida, then for 7 days, it says tehitum also olav. All 7 days he becomes tome like a nida, right? And now, however, he doesn't make the other mattresses avatuma, all of them. Yeah, he doesn't make them all avatuma like himself. He makes it rishon l'tuma. That's his level. One thing we see for sure, that the level that him sleeping with the shoichev nida applies also to a person who's shoichev with 3 years old girl. Now it says, next case, if that girl, the sholosh shonim, the bas sholosh, the 3 years old, if she marries a kohen, ocheles betruma. If she's nisas lekohen, which means we assume there was kiddushin and there was nisuin, she's married to a kohen, she's the bas Yisrael, she's the daughter of Israel. Now she's fully married to a kohen. She's granted now to eat truma. That's halacha which we're going to see today in very much at length. The halacha which we saw before and we'll see later. A bas Yisrael who is properly married after chuppah to a kohen, yeah, that girl gets to eat truma. She's an Eishes Kohen, as it says in the Psukim, Kinyan Kaspoy, and it says, Kol Tor Beves Choyecholoisa, 1 second. V'im bo oleo echad mikol arayis shebatoiro, mumosin al yodo. Let's say any erva, let's say brother had relations with her, or let's say, I don't know, brother-in-law had relations with her, they die because of her, but she doesn't die. She's miskana, a little girl. V'hi ptura, she's exempt. V'im ba alea echad min apsulin, let's say she had relations with somebody who was not like a brother, not an Isur Kores. She had relations with, let's say, a mamzer or a goy. Now she becomes what? A zoina. A woman who had relations with a man that she's not allowed to marry, that's a definition. Let's say mamzer, goy, things like that. She becomes what? Becomes a zoina. A kohen cannot marry her. A girl who was, let's say, had relations, let's say she has a past, and in high school, university, she had relations with the goyim, and then she became frum. Very nice. She can't marry a kohen. So this girl, although she's just above 3, Her relations is called relations. She's supposed to look you. Not 1 second, please. I'll listen to you soon. Zok the Gemara. Wait a second. Tani bia, viktani nises. Wait. It says at the beginning what that 3 years old had bia, and then later on it says if she had nisuin. Again, you see there's bia, and post bia nisuin still apply. So you see the bia doesn't do the whole trick together. You see that bia does just kiddushin, because after bia there's still room, necessity for the other stage called nisuin. And says the Gemara, no, hachika omar. No, you completely misread it. We didn't say, it's not a story with chronology. This is not a children's book over here. This happened and that happened. It says, I hani nisuin de koheninu acheles betruma. It says, if what we just discussed before, the bia, which could be nisuin, was with the kohen, then she eats betruma. It doesn't say that she had bia. It's not a story. She had bia, then she had nisuin. It says, if it's a kohen, who is a kohen? If the man who had kiddushe bia with her, which could also be nisuim by bia, is a kohen, then she's fully nisua. She gets the truma of a kohen. Yes. Questions or no? You good? Yeah.
Just a very basic.
Else? I just want to mention, since we speak about the father marrying off his daughter, who is such a young girl, Omer Viuda Amarav says in Daf Mem Aleph, don't look for it here, it's in Daf Mem Aleph, I'm just reading, as a break, commercials. Yeah, also, La'odam Shikadish is Bitek Shiktano, a man is not allowed to marry off his daughter when she's a Ktana, when she's young, underage, Ad Shetigdal, until she grows up, until she grows up and she says, I want this man and not that man. So a person who actually married off his daughter at such a young age is committing a sin. The Seder, Elamai. If he did it, it works. And sometimes it was a sad necessity. Okay?
No, not really.
Toshma. Now we're going to see an interesting brisa from the Medrash. So before we continue, just a small introduction. We're going to assume now, and that assumption actually will stay, that a woman who was born to a regular Israel family of Zorim, not Kohanim, she never ate Truma in her life. She was now Meoreses, Mikudeshes to a Kohen, right? Then she got Nesua to a Kohen, that's the next stage. Once she's Nesua, there was Chuppah, the Kohen and her were under the Chuppah, then what? Then she gets to eat Truma. And that is always known. That is the axiom before we even started the assumption, because it says in Parshas Korach, Kol toher bebeischa yochel oisoi. It says all pure people in your house, people who properly live in your house, meaning the woman who lives with you as your legal wife, although she's originally a non-Kohenes, she may eat the Truma now because she became a real full-fledged Kohenes by being married to the Kohen. She eats Truma. Now, who else eats Truma? Lahavdil from the woman. The Avodim, let's say a Kohen has Eved Knaini or Shifcha Knaini, they also eat Truma. Yeah, they eat Truma. The Eved Ivri doesn't. We discussed it already. Eved Knaini of the Kohen, trivia question for your wife, yeah, or for whoever you want. When does Eved Knaini have more rights than Eved Ivri to eat Truma? Why? Because Eved Kanani belongs to the Kohen. He belongs to the Kohen, is called Kinyan Kaspoi. That's another posuk. Yeah, he's a Kinyan Kesef. In other words, people whom you acquire with money, which is only Eved and Shifcha, they too eat the Truma of the Kohen, as opposed to other Avodim or all kinds of workers. That's just what we have to know for now. There's now a gray area. The gray area, which we're trying to explore slowly but surely about, we'll do that now, is a woman who is me'oreses to the Kohen, but not yet Nesua. Where does she live? She lives with the Tate and Mame, and she goes to school. She goes to Bes Yaakov. Yeah, she's still Meoreses. However, she has a ring on her finger. She is, yes, Mekudeshes Meoreses, right? She's not engaged, like we call today. She's Mekudeshes, Eishes Ish. Does she or doesn't she eat Truma at that interim stage? She's Mekudeshes, but she's not Nesua. There was no Chuppah yet, no Kinor David, no singers. Yeah, there was nothing of that. There was no chasen yet with Chuppah, but there was already Kiddushin. Does she or doesn't she eat Truma? We already discussed that before, but we're going to see it now at length. Toshma. כבר שולח יוחנן ben Bagbag אצל רבי יהודה ben Beser לנציבין. Yochanan ben Bagbag, one of the Tanoim, he sent a letter Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, who lived in Chutz La'aretz. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira lived in Netzivin. Netzivin, Tosis and Psochim, says it was in Chutz La'aretz, and he sent him a letter. What was the letter he sent him? Shamati alecha, I heard about you, a rumor, I heard about you. Sha'ata oimer, that you say, Arusa bas Yisrael ocheles betruma. I've heard that you paskin, and it sounds from the tone of voice that he's not happy with that. I've heard that you say that an Arusa bas Yisrael, one we discussed, she's mukudeshes, moreses, not yet nesua. You say, is that true? That you rule that she's allowed to eat truma? And soon we'll see that he's not happy with that. Sholach loy. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira is now replying with a letter, returning email to Rabbi Yochanan ben Bagban. Ve'ata iyato American. Don't you believe that? Are you complaining? Don't you think that I'm right? Don't you say the same? That an Israeli says meoreses to the Kohen already eats truma in that in-between stage? I know about you that you are Baki, you're well versed in all areas of Torah, in all rooms of Torah. I know you know all areas of Torah, you're very well versed. Don't you know how to darshan a kal v'chomer? Here's a simple kal v'chomer, which I'll prove to you now in a kal v'chomer, that the meoreses to Kohen surely, very nicely, it's truma. Look at the kal v'chomer. Now we have to concentrate on the kal v'chomer. Kal v'chomer will be dissected. You have to know this kal v'chomer before we continue. Concentrate well. Uma shivcha knainis. A shivcha knainis, does she eat truma? Yes or no? She does. The shivcha knainis of a kohen eats truma. Uma shivcha knainis she'en bi osam achiloso betruma. Let's say the kohen had the beer with the shivcha knainis. I have a lot to say about that. But Lamaisa, if he did that, she doesn't eat truma through that. Why? Because being bia on shivcha knainis does not acquire her. Doesn't acquire her. You're not kohen a shivcha with bia, no. And you only kohen a shivcha with kesef, not with bia. Maybe he married her. Maybe he married her through bia. No, there's no marrying shivcha knainis. Shivcha knainis cannot marry a Jew, and even if she does, he won't catch. They're called Am Hadoy Melechamo. Yeah, they are the forefathers of the Hamas. Am Hadoy Melechamo. They're like donkeys. Who you can't marry them. So if the Kohen had bia with the shivcha, even with good intentions, she doesn't eat truma as a result of that. It's just nothing happened there. And yet, kaspa machilosa betruma. If the Kohen paid good money for the shivcha knainis, she becomes his property, and he's not supposed to touch her. She's his worker, yeah. And then she eats truma because it says kinyan kaspa. Mamish these words. Kinyan kaspa eats truma. So wait a second. So what do you see by shivcha knainis? Bia is nothing, and kesef is everything to give to make her eat truma. Zu, who's zu? A woman, a regular woman, regular wife, should be also machilosa betruma. A regular wife whose bia makes her eat truma. We somehow assume that, and that's going to really annoy the Gemara later. A regular woman, once she had bia, of course that makes her eat truma. That's not even a question. Okay. All the more so, money, which seems to be more functioning by shivcha, of course, will make her eat truma. So a girl who got money, she got the ring, the money, whatever, or the star, she's now what? Mikudeshes. She's going to eat truma. That's a lot. I'm repeating, and now you listen, everything will be easy. Again, a shivcha knainis, which a kohen had bia with shivcha knainis, he went to the market, he went to someone's house, and could be even for good intentions. He thought he's marrying her. It wasn't some trying to have fun. He thought he's marrying, he thought he's buying. I'm sorry, Mr. Cohen, you have to learn your Gemara. You have to come to Amud Yomi. If you had relations with shivcha knainis, nothing happened, and therefore she doesn't eat your truma. And yet, if you gave money to buy the shivcha knainis, money does it, and makes her eat truma. Kol sheken by a woman, which we know from some reason, a woman, what do we say? A bia with a regular woman makes you eat truma, makes her eat truma. Let's assume right now, says Rashi, that we think bia is chuppah. And we all know, I told you, that a properly married woman, after nisuin, after chuppah, she eats the truma. So if by bia she eats truma, kol sheken by kesef, she'll eat truma. In other words, by money, if she was just mikudeshes, she got kesef mikudushin, she should eat truma. Continues Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, his soliloquy. Aval ma'eh say, but what can I do? Midoraisa, this is all true. But what can I do? Shar omru chachomim. I would like to instigate that. I would like that to be the halacha, but I can't fight with my friends. Shar omru chachomim. Chachomim already said, Ein arusa bas Yisrael ocheles betruma ad shetikanes lechupa. There's a gzera midarabanon, only midarabanon, that a girl who is meoreses, I'm not saying engaged on purpose, it's a wrong word to say engaged. A girl who's meoreses to a kohen and lives with her parents should not eat truma, even though midin mikradin she's allowed to eat truma. Why not? Because she will, how do you call that action in Hebrew? To pour? Limzog. What's the chashash? She may be moizeg wine of truma to her siblings. We said that about 5 dapim ago. What did we say? A girl who lives with her parents and siblings, are they kohanim? No. Only she's the lucky one to get engaged, to be misares to a kohen. And her brothers and sisters are regular Israelim. Now the kohen, her beloved Orus, yeah, he sends her a nice wine for Hanukkah, a nice fruit for Tu B'Shvat, of what? Of truma. Because Mother Eishes is allowed to eat truma, and by mistake, living with the siblings, what will she do? She'll give some wine to her siblings. They are absolute regular Israelim. If they would eat truma, that's their end. The end of it, the chayiv misa b'dei shamayim, right? Even I'm saying mistake by purpose. That's a different question, but it's a bad thing. Therefore, Rabbanan said, since she lives in Israeli environment, she should stay away from truma. That's the end of the story. What does that prove regarding our question? So that's end of quote, end of quote. Somehow, from this brisa, from this medrash, we're going to try and prove one way or the other regarding bia, that bia does not only kiddushin, but also nisuin. Let's see how that works. Yeah, that's not our question. No,
that was the original question.
No. The original question was bia. The original question was every woman, not only regarding kohen. The question we have at hand is a regular question: do we say that bia of kiddushin is just bia and still requires chuppah later on, like you said, that's a regular 2 steps process, or do we say no? Bia being bia means kiddushin automatically together organically. It's also nisuin. We're going to prove one way from what we just saw now. Hey Chidami. Now let's dissect and analyze nice and slow. This is like an operation. It's not difficult. It's just every stage has to be dealt with differently. We are in the, in surgery room. Hey Chidami. What's the story over here? Well, what's the story of bia kesef? Yeah, we kept comparing and we said, if a regular woman by bia, she eats the truma, of course by kesef, she eats truma. That's what we said. What are we talking about? Ibe bia, what kind of bia are you talking about? If you want to tell me that when you said she eats the truma after bia, you meant to say, Alan, like you said, bia and then chuppah, and kesef also means kesef and then chuppah, meaning, yeah, that it's all after she's properly nesua, and that's a discussion, then in both cases she practically eats. In other words, we are talking here about a stage in between where midarabanon she's not allowed to eat, right? So that's obviously a stage before chuppah. All we did now was to prove that there is no chuppah in this whole discussion of Yudah ben Beseira about the girl who is meoreses but not nesua to the kohen. There was no chuppah, because once there was chuppah, she really eats the truma. We're talking about a stage when he said at the punchline, he said at the end, she doesn't eat truma because she still lives with her brothers. A woman after chuppah doesn't live with his brothers unless it's a very dysfunctional marriage. Yeah, she lives with her husband. The Ella was just ruling out. We're unticking. We are ruling out different options. The Ella must be the bia shalidei chuppah, the kesef shalalidei chuppah. So when we said bia makes her proper wife, maybe we meant to say bia followed by chuppah. She eats the truma. And we wanted to compare that and say, if she eats then, surely she eats by kesef without chuppah. Kesef without chuppah. Says the Gemara, it doesn't make sense. What kind of, I shouldn't say, illogical kal v'chomer? How can you compare? You say, if the weak one of bia and chuppah, she eats truma, Bolshek and kesef alone. Look at the scoreboard, mister. That's 2 against 1. Of course, if she had bia and chuppah, 2 strong things. Of course she eats truma. That doesn't mean that kesef alone, she got a shtickle ring on her finger. One thing doesn't mean that she gets to eat the truma. El alav, here we come to the final proof, attempt to prove. must be, we're comparing what? Bebia shelo lidei chuppah, bekesef shelo lidei chuppah. Must be, as I actually explained it to you as I was reading it. We're talking here about bia solo, just bia without anything else, and kesef without anything else. And what did we say? Let's repeat the kal v'chomer or part of it. If bia, for sure, after bia only, just bia, nothing else. Of course, after bia, of course she eats truma. That's the axiom. That's assumption before we enter the boardroom. This is like everybody knows that. And kol sheken through a shifcha, we know also kesef. What do you mean? Very good. Now you're gonna get it now. If you say bia alone does 2 for 1, does nisuin with one action, bia creates kiddushin and nisuin. Very good. Mishumachi pshitale, then clearly it's poshut to the Tana, to Rabbi Yochanan Beseira, to say dalima la bia mikesef. Then we know bia is stronger than kesef. We know for sure that bia is what? She eats truma, because remember, what we always know is that after nisuin, an eshes coin eats truma. That's never debatable. That was the axiom, that was always the assumption, because it says, Kol tor bebeischo, the woman who lives in your house legally, she eats. Very good. But that's a brilliant kal v'chomer. Bia, which is doing kiddushin and nisuin with one action of bia, of course she eats. She eats because she's called nesua. She's not moreses, she's nesua. And mimela kol sheken kesef, yeah. And then that tells me, and mashenken b'shifcha, that doesn't help. And kesef help l'shifcha. Kesef would also help to be koina her, make her eat truma by a regular woman. Kiddushin also. But if you tell me that all that bia does is kiddushin alone, if you say that bia for kiddushin is just that, just kiddushin, then if kiddushin and kesef are just the same, they have the same status. Like Ellen was saying, you always need 2 stages. You need kiddusha bia and chuppah. You need kiddusha kesef and chuppah. So bia and kesef are just the same. Why are you assuming what is a superiority, this snobbiness, that all of a sudden we assume that bia is for sure always assumed to be makne and allowing her to eat the truma, while when it comes to money, we're not sure, and we have all these debates. What's the difference? At the same level. Elamai must be what? Again, I'm repeating the proof. Let's repeat the proof. Let's summarize. Let's just get to the core of it. Again, what did we say in the Brisa? We said, if bia, which surely, of course, a woman who's married to a Kohen through bia, through one-time bia, want to be a kiddush, of course she eats truma. The question, are you koifer? Of course. Then kol sheken through a shifcha, that by kesef she should also eat. Elmai by kesef, there's a side problem that they don't yet live together, so she may give it to brothers. Excuse me. We see one thing from why is bia so clear to you that she eats, and by kesef you're twiddling your thumbs and you're asking questions. Must be that bia is really not kiddushin. Every bia is kiddushin, inadvertently, but psik reisha is also chuppah. Nisuin. Nisuin, everybody knows a woman is nesua tekoin eats truma. From here, we prove that kiddushay bia are really nisuin. That's why they always have the one up. They always have the advantage. Well, kesef of kiddushin is just kiddushin. She still lives at home. She's still in a different story. And one day she'll have chuppah. Oh, so you see clearly that we proved like one side that really that bia does nisuin. Omar Nachman Bar Yitzchak, questions later. Omar Nachman Bar Yitzchak, answers Nachman Bar Yitzchak, he is not disproving, he's rejecting the proof. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak is coming to reject the proof. Wow. Really could be when the Brisa spoke and the Brisa said bia, it meant bia that will be followed by chuppah. There was followed by chuppah. There's bia and chuppah. And that's why we know, obviously, maybe really bia means what? Bia just kiddushin. It was followed by chuppah as it has to be followed by chuppah, and you need the second stage. And that's what we spoke about. The kesef sheloli de chuppah. And kesef is kesef without chuppah. When you claim to me, look at the scoreboard, mister, how can you compare one to the other? Here there are 2 things that happen, and here only one. You're telling me if this one, right? If the bia is gets her to eat the truma, Polshek and kesef. That's wrong because bia there was bia and chuppah, and kesef there's only one. There's only one kesef, only one item, only one action. So how can you prove them? Says the Gemara, easy. Yeah, you could have figured out yourselves. Kal v'chomer mi'ite. At the end of the day, although here there's two and here there's one, the kal v'chomer from shifcha still works. The kal v'chomer from shifcha still does work. Let's read again the kal v'chomer in an improved form. This is what Rabbi ben Beser sent on Ben Bagbag. Listen to this, and that's all story together. Now we're going to have a beautiful symphony. Uma shifcha knainis she'en biyosa mechilosa betruma afila lidei chuppah. You're telling me bia and chuppah is so strong? Garbage. Bia and chuppah, when it comes to who? To a shifcha, nothing. You can have 10 bios and 10 chuppahs, very fancy chuppah, with the biggest drum, whatever you want, and with all the music and all the Kiddushin and all the photographers, nothing, right? Bia and chuppah with the shifcha kananis just doesn't catch. It's like doing to the goiter. A man who married the goiter, she's not married to him. I mean, it's usher, but it's nothing caught. It's not valid. And yet, kaspa machilosa beloy chuppah. And yet, after making all this fun, but lemaisa by shifcha, you gave her kesef, you gave her seller kesef, and she gets to eat without chuppah. That's true. As shifcha kananis gets kesef, it shows you how strong kesef is. So the regular woman should be also machilosa betruma lidei chuppah. A regular woman who's what? When he had bia and chuppah, mazel tov, she definitely, billion% eats truma. It was mamish chuppah. Bia and chuppah. What else do you want? Yeah. Einu din shekaspa mechilosa betruma beloy chuppah. Clearly, kesef, even without anything else, without chuppah, gets her to eat truma. And he finishes off. Aval ma'aseh. This is just finishing off again. Says Rabbi Yochanan ben Beseira as an afterthought, lamenting reality. What can I do? I would really like the daughters of Israelim, right after receiving kesef, go eat your truma. You can go out with your orus to restaurants of truma only, for koyanim only, all day long. But what can I do? Chachamim said, "Ein arus abas Yisrael ocheles betruma, and arus abas Yisrael midarabonon cannot eat betruma ad shitkones lechuppah, until she actually goes under the chuppah and starts living with him mishum deula." Period. What's Ula? Ula is the one who said that the reason why you're not allowed to eat is because she may give some food or drinks to her non-Kohen brothers and sisters. Let's summarize. It's really, really easy. Now, yeah, Ben Bagbag, that we'll see. No, before we summarize, now the Gemara, just 2 lines. It's a short one. Up until now, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira gave us a long shmooze. So what does Ben Bagbag have to say? What does Ben Bagbag have to say? Yeah, because Ben Bagbag really wants to say that midoraisa, one ureses kohen doesn't eat. Ben Bagbag believes that a Jewish girl who is a bas Yisrael zoro, it's called a zar. What's a zor? A non-kohen. Yeah, a girl who's from regular, like me, you, like everyone here in the room, because the kohen is not here today. So our daughters, what are they? They are not supposed to eat truma until they marry a kohen. Now, says Ben Bagbag, what does marry mean? Ben Bagbag says only once she is really under the chuppah, only then she eats the truma. Before that, it's not midorabonon. Midoraisa she's not supposed to eat. What will Ben Bagbag respond to the beautiful kal v'chomer of Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira? Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira shtochtim. He said, don't you know how to learn a kal v'chomer? You're big talmid chacham. So what will Ben Bagbag reply? No, let's be Ben Bagbag lawyers. Ben Bagbag, gabe shifcha knainis, you can't compare it to shifcha knainis. Gabe shifcha knainis lo shir b'kinyono. When a shifcha knainis gets money, she belongs to the kohen. There's no further ado. Nothing else supposed to happen. She belongs to him. Give money to the master of the shifcha knainis, she becomes yours. The other things, the Yiddishkeit is tefillah, but the ownership is yours. Give money, it's yours in half a second. Nothing else supposed to happen. Therefore, her kinyan kesef is very strong in the choshen mishpat side legally. She also eats truma, as opposed to a woman hocha by every woman in the world shir b'kinyono. A woman who got money, as Ellen very eloquently explained to us so nicely, every Jewish woman in the world, if she just gets kesef, forget about bia for now. Let's leave the bia touchy subject. But If she got kesef or star, is that the end of the story? No. We said about, I don't know, 10 nafkaminas that, first of all, they can't live together. It's one nice nafkamina. And secondly, for Yerusha, for Nedori, blah, blah, for Znichsemilug, she's not really the wife yet. And therefore, what's the comparison? Why are you comparing kesef of Ama Ivriya, which is super strong because the only game in town, to kesef of regular girl who's not the only game in town? You still need something else. I don't know what Ben Beser will answer that. The Gemara doesn't go into that. That's what we're holding right now. Question, you've been very patient, so now you can have your question time. Yes, Alan. Ravina has another take, another explanation regarding the argument of Ben Bagbag and Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira. And according to his explanation, you can lay down your guns. In other words, according to his explanations, you can't prove anything regarding whether Bia is koine fully with chuppah or not chuppah. And soon you'll know why. Says Ravina like this. Midoraisa mifshat pshita le'deochlo. Very good. Midoraisa, both Rabbi Yochanan ben Beseira, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira and Bagbag, right? Yeah, 1 second. Yeah. They both believe Midoraisa, she gets to eat. Yeah. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, Bagbag, everybody knows the Midoraisa. A woman who is Mekudeshes to a Kohen, Moreses Mekudeshes, she eats Truma. So therefore, we're not really trying to find out anything to do with Kiddushin versus Nisuin. It's not the issue here. So you don't have to bichlal relate to the business of Bia Kiddushin versus Bia Nisuin. We only talk about Kiddushin, and we all know that midoraisa a woman eat. You know why? Because it says kinyan kaspoy. Once he gave her money, the coin to the girl, and now she became an Eishes Kohen by money, even without chuppah. Kinyan kaspoy. Kinyan kaspoy. She eats truma. So what's the argument? The argument is regarding Dorabonon. We just upped their discussion to be on a Dorabonon level. Did Rabbanon forbid, or didn't they forbid a girl who's meureses to a kohen to eat truma? That concern we spoke about, right? What did we say all the time? She's allowed to eat truma, but with Rabbanon they said no, because she's going to get a nice cup of wine from her beloved Orus. She'll give it to her sister and brother, right? That will be disaster. That exactly is the point of discussion. Do we or don't we? Yeah, are we or aren't we concerned about that? Let's see. So now he sent him. Now Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, yeah, comes Ben Bagbag sending a letter to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira Nitzin. Shamati alecha shata omer. I heard rumors about you, Rabbi. Shata omer, that you say Arutha bas Yisrael ocheles betruma. I heard that you say Arutha bas Yisrael practically really eats truma. Velo chayshet lesimfoin. And you're not concerned about symphony. What's a symphony? It's not a symphony. Symphony means something else. Symphony, and I don't have time now to explain why it's called that way. Symphony means a mum. Let's say this girl is meoroso, and she's tznius girl, like she should be, Besyakov. She covers her body as she should. And they went to 3, 4, 5, 10 dates, and he sees her nice face, and he sees her hands, but there's lots of parts of her body that he didn't see. It's a big concern in Ksubas. And then what happens? Maybe at some point, early, soon after they are together, you'll see that she has horrible blemishes in hidden parts of her body. So then he would say that's mekachtos. Don't think it's mekachtos. The shadchan didn't tell me, and the parents didn't tell me. Did you know? I hope I'm not shocking you. I hope you're not going to faint. Do you know that people hide things in shidduchim? No, you never heard that. No. No, but apparently there is such a thing. People have diseases, the things, emotions. They hide. They don't tell you everything in shidduchim. Would you know? So who didn't happen to? We'll talk about that later. So now could be she has hidden stuff he doesn't know. We're talking physically, and now he would say right after he saw her properly. He'd say such a thing, not even a havamina. Had I known that, I wouldn't be b'chlan mekadesh her. And now the kiddushin are mekach tos. Because it's mekach tos, the whole kiddushin are completely retroactively lemafrea annulled, and therefore she was never meureses to a kohen. And if she was never meureses to a kohen, then what? She was a regular bas Yisrael eating truma. She's chayav misa. I don't know b'shogig she's chayav misa, but lemaisa she's a bas Yisrael eating truma. Therefore, until they are not under the chuppah properly, until then, That's why she doesn't eat truma. She shouldn't. And I heard you, Rabbi Yehuda ben Becerra, I heard you allow Bnos Yisrael to eat. It's not really true that that's what he did, but I heard you allow that, and you're not concerned of the simfon. That could be a terrible disaster, catastrophe. So now, okay, tomorrow, to be continued tomorrow, because it's 10:26. Atzlacha bracha, may we only have atzlachos, b'chol inyanim. May we never be tricked in any ways. May the only ones strict would be our enemies and the Yetzer Hara and the Hamas Machshima v'Zikroinom. And may we be victorious in all areas, in Torah, mitzvahs, ma'asim tovim, and avas Yisrael. May we see Mashiach very soon. Thank you to everyone in Torah Anytime and YouTube.